What is up, everybody? We are back with our part 3 of our week 5 review. Brian, how's it going with your fantasy teams? I know we have probably the most you've had ever, maybe, right? In terms of fantasy teams.
Yeah, I've got four. Two of them are dynasty. We play in 2 out of those 4 leagues together. They're like kind of our leagues, right? 1 dynasty, 1 redraft, and then picked up an orphan dynasty team this year. Like, I know we got multiple. We were going to try and co-manage, but we ended up having so many of them where it was just like, oh, we can all just like take one over. Like, Dad, you can have one. And honestly, we'll talk about those when we do our dynasty videos. But those, honestly, the rebuild of that team, because it was abandoned because it was really bad, but it's actually been very, very fun, honestly. And like all my other leagues, I'm doing, I think, decently well. I'm actually 3-1 in the PPR league, and that you don't play in. Mm-hmm. And I am like loaded up in that league with running backs, and my receivers are good, and I'm trying to get an elite tight end is what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm trying to trade Kyron Williams, actually, who we just talked about in the last video. I'm trying to trade him or who else? Or even like Alvin Kamara. Like, I'm trying to trade one of those guys for like a Hawkinson, or Mark Andrews is not going to happen, even though that manager has George Kittle also. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I'm pretty comfortable with where that team's heading for sure.
Yeah. One of my orphan dynasty leagues is in a bad spot. I think I went into the year starting like week 1, like Marvin Jones, Tyquan Thornton, and Puka Nacua, and I won. And I'm 2-2 in that league somehow. And I'm like, damn it, I want to freaking lose. And even this week, I just had like I don't want to win, but I'm gonna be probably mid-tier because I have like Sam Howell, who just put up 27 points. You know, like. I don't know. It's frustrating. Puka and Michael Wilson and all that stuff. So
I have no chance of winning in that league. I'm pretty sure I'm almost a lock for the number 1 pick because it's a super flex league, and the only starting quarterback I have is Desmond Ridder.
Yeah,
I did get Kyler Murray, but obviously he's not playing, so that's the long term. It's like I'm definitely playing for next year, so. I'm kind of happy where that's at right now.
Yeah, but we'll get into it. You probably don't care about our fantasy teams. So we're going over the last 4 matchups for the week. Again, half PPR is all of our rankings and numbers. So we'll get into it, talking about the fringe starters of the Jets and the Broncos is game number 1 that we're talking about. F the Broncos is my motto. Anyways, we'll start with the Jets. Zach Wilson looked good, and he moved in offense, and happy to see. He was another guy where I started feeling bad for the guy a little bit. Like, we talked about it with Daniel Jones. Just like, I kind of feel bad for Zach Wilson too. Just like, you're in New York as well, prime time. I thought this was just going to be like a disaster against the Chiefs. And no, looked good. Probably should have had a chance to at least tie the game up or something.
Yeah.
But a couple bad calls, in my opinion, prevented that. But we're not starting Zach Wilson yet, but it's nice to see him be able to move an offense. I think Garrett Wilson is now back into a must-start type of player.
I'll start Zach Wilson over Joe Burrow this week.
Man.
I know, right?
Think you'd ever be saying that?
No. I don't.
Yeah, I would too. Against the Broncos, yeah.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
No, I agree.
I'm not happy about it, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah. But Garrett Wilson, to me, is back into the starting conversation. Like, he's had, since week 2, 8, 9, 14 targets. Hasn't been huge games. He had week 2. He did have a good game, 2 catches. He had a big touchdown catch. Last week he had 9 catches for 60 yards. You'll take that. You're happy with that. Double-digit points. And he's going to get touchdowns every now and then. So he'll have those 16-point games, So I think he's kind of a no-question starter, in my opinion, unless you're just stacked at receiver. And Breece Hall, I think, this is the week, right? Like, are we being tricked? Are we being tricked? Like, oh, handcuffs or the let Breece Hall loose type of thing is what they're saying. No more pitch count, snap count. Are you you think this is his breakout game, Brian, against the Broncos?
I mean, it's
bad.
Yeah, the Broncos make everyone look awesome. So, yeah, I think you're firing him up. Temper your expectations. But I think he's a low end number 2 running back this week with huge upside if he gets more than 6 rushing attempts, which is just kind of wild to think about. But I mean, he's had multiple big runs this year already.
Yeah.
And it's like, the matchup is just so juicy. And like what we're hearing out of New York is that he's going to be out there. And, obviously Dalvin Cook has looked like trash. So,
they have to.
Which is very. Dalvin Cook is like so weird. It's like, what happened to him? Like, how is he that bad? Like, all of a sudden, I don't know. I know he's getting up there in age, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but he is only 27. Like, he just kind of turned 27 too, like in August.
28.
Sorry, I meant 28.
Okay.
Yeah,
not that it matters, but I'm just looking at his sheet right here.
Broncos in half PPR have given up on average 47.2 points per game to running backs.
Jeez.
They're worse. They're 32nd. The next worst is the Bears, 32.2. That doesn't include yesterday's game for the Bears. Yeah. So 15 points. The second worst team in the league is 15 points better than the Broncos. So yeah, you got to start Breece Hall.
So I was going to say, so what you're saying is flex Dalvin Cook then? No.
I mean, if you're desperate, maybe, but no.
Yeah. Don't do that though. Yeah, desperation only, but don't do that.
Did you pick the Jets in this game in our football pool? Or
I did pick the Jets. I like you came up with the motto last year where it's like I'm just picking against the Broncos every single time because 14 out of 16 times in the season or whatever, like you're going to be correct. So it's like, I picked the Jets. I think their defense is going to be they'll be able to kind of shut it down because like we kind of mentioned, their Jets defense is for real,
how I approach these games, sometimes I look at like, all right, who's the best unit in this game? And to me, it's the Jets defense, so I'm like, okay, like I would have picked against the Broncos anyways. And it almost paid off last week against the Bears too. But I think Breece Hall is a must start. Garrett Wilson's a must start. I think even Tyler Conklin's a sneaky, just because Broncos so bad. Like he could be a sneaky streamer if you play in a deeper league. Like has to be kind of deep, but I think it's just a name to keep an eye. He had a good game last week, and he's had stretches over his career the last couple of years. So, but just throwing that out, maybe like a DFS type of play or something. That's it. We're not starting like Alan Lazard and things like that, right?
No. Well, I thought we were talking about the Broncos. I thought we already got past the Jets.
Oh, no. But... Yeah, so Broncos, we'll start with Russell Wilson. A little bit tougher because of the matchup. So, again, we talked about it a lot with everything that we mentioned. But, like, are you Russell Wilson over Trevor Lawrence?
That's really close. Well, I mean, I got to assume. Well, I guess it is possible to have both those guys. You know what? I think I will lean Russ just because we've seen it. Like the matchup is tougher for him. Well, I don't even know if that's true because I forgot Jacksonville's playing Buffalo. I don't know. I'll go Russell Wilson there. God.
It's hard.
It's tough.
But we've seen more from Russ, like, unfortunately, this year. He's QB9 on the year. He's had 2 15-point games, a 27-point game, and a 22-point game. So he hasn't killed you at all. Lawrence has had at least one game where he's kind of killed you, and he hasn't had games where he's potentially won it for you. So I'll lean Russ. I like Russ.
That. It's good logic.
And then Russ over Purdy against Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay. Jaleel McGough. Well, let's start with the running backs. We're not starting Samaje. Javonte, if he's playing, are you throwing him in there, or are you worried about this quad injury?
Yeah,
And he hasn't really produced.
I am worried. Like, even if he does play, I can't imagine he just plays a ton. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he's still less than 50% of the snaps in all of his games. And yeah, Jaleel, is it Jaleel McLaughlin?
I think it's McLaughlin. It's like Laughlin. It's
Okay.
McLaughlin.
It's funny because I don't even have him here, like on the depth chart. Like, I have to look him up specifically, but no, I think I'm trying to avoid Javonte this week. I haven't been starting him outside, like past week 1, maybe week 2. I started him too, but like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like, you could do worse. Like, if he's out there, he's getting the opportunities like around 15 a game, including involved in the passing game. So the injury is like concerning, but I mean, they're already like saying like he could play. So I guess I'm not that worried about him.
Yeah, I'm gonna bench Javonte if he's out there. But McLaughlin, if Javonte's out, I'm starting him. Actually, he's outscored Javonte this year. Isn't that like that's insane to me? Jaleel McLaughlin has more. He has 1.3 points more than Javonte, and of course, it all came last week. But still, that just proves to you like McLaughlin had a minus game. By the way, his first week is minus 0.2, and he still outscored Javonte. Like, I think McLaughlin Sean Payton loves him. I think he's going to get more involved. So I'm definitely starting on Javonte's out. I'm a little more hesitant if he's not though.
Yeah. If Javonte's in there, I think you kind of nailed it. Like, I think you got to avoid both, honestly, if you can. If they're both there, but if Javonte's out, you fire up McLaughlin. McLaughlin.
Yeah, I think
it's that guy.
Yeah, Jaleel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the receivers, I think Sutton, if you drafted him, you're super happy with him. He has 3 double-digit half PPR weeks, and then his one that wasn't, it was 9.1 points. So you're super happy from where you drafted him. I was wrong about Sutton, I'll admit that. I'll put it this way. I was wanting to avoid him, and then it was like, Tim Patrick's out, KJ Hamler's out, Jerry Jeudy got hurt. It just came to the point where I couldn't avoid him because of all of those things. But yeah, I think Sutton's, even in a tough matchup, I'm going to be starting him. Like, I don't see how you can get away from him.
Yeah.
And then Jeudy, I do want to get away from. Like, I just got to see it. Like, it's just all it comes down to. Like, I just need – he's killing me, basically. I'm losing weeks potentially because of Jerry Jeudy. Like, maybe. I don't know. He was drafted pretty high, so.
Yeah. So, similar to, like, what we said about forget what you did in your draft in general, because that was so long ago. It's like, I mean, this is year 4 for Jerry Jeudy, and we just haven't seen it. Like, we're still excited about him. We know there's like the potential there, but yeah, I agree. Like, bench him if you can. Wait to see it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely not excited about Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, no, I agree. Marvin Mims, definitely have him. He should be on roster. He should be rostered if you don't. The guy, he's wide receiver 30 on the year, and he's averaged 27.5% of the snaps, which is insane. Like, per touch basis, like, this is huge. No, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, get this guy on the field. Brandon Johnson was starting over him, playing like 50-60% of the snaps. Last week, though, they both played about 35%. So I think Marvin Mims is getting more run. And I just think like he could potentially be like, something to be excited about on this offense. So
yeah, they have used him quite a bit as a kick returner.
Yeah,
so that's kind of interesting. He could be if your league actually rewards points for that, he could be a sneaky dude. Like, just based on that, like, it looks like he definitely gets some usage there.
Yeah,
but I'm looking at their depth chart. They have a guy named Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Yeah. Like, he was on the Saints. Lil Jordan, is his name. Yep. he was on the Saints with Sean. He's a Sean Payton guy, so
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny though. Lil Jordan is his first name.
I know. Is he a rapper?
I don't know. I don't know. But
Rappers
yeah,
are always
that's
so tiny.
yeah, right. They're all small. But we'll move on from this game. We're not starting in at the tight ends there. On the Broncos, Chiefs at Vikings. I think is the highest over under at 53. Chiefs are favored by 3.5. Yeah, I mean, obviously you're starting Mahomes, you're starting Kelsey. Pacheco is another guy that I was wrong about. Like I was not excited about Pacheco, but man, he basically won them that game against the Jets. So I think Pacheco's easy start, no questions.
Yeah, he looked really good last week for sure. Like, yeah, you got to fire him up. He's on, if not the best, one of the best offenses in football. Like, and he is the guy. So yeah, fire him up.
Yeah, and he's getting 4 catches last week. He has at least 3 targets in 3 of his 4 games, and 3 catches, 2 catches, 4 catches. So it's definitely. And any receivers here? No, we're avoiding. I will say this offense hasn't really clicked, it seems like. And I think it shows you the importance of guys like, maybe it sounds funny, but like Juju Smith-Schuster and Mecole Hardman and what they meant to like just the team as like professional receivers that can, do things for the offense. And we're kind of seeing the absence of that. I think Rashee Rice is probably the guy to hold on to.
Yeah. You got to stash him. Like he's still not playing a ton of snaps. He's still, the Chiefs receivers are so hard, but I think he is the one to like stash at the end of your bench. There's no way you're starting him, obviously, but
no,
it's like, maybe. I mean, you're totally fine to cut him too if you need like the spot, for a player to actually play like during the bye weeks. But yeah, hold him if you can, just to see what happens over these next few weeks.
Yeah, I agree. Yep, he could kind of take that Juju Smith-Schuster role. So yeah, Chiefs are an easy team because the good teams are usually pretty easy. Vikings, another good offensive team at least. Cousins is still a must start for me. I know you had a down week last week. You're going to get those with Cousins. It's just he doesn't run, so quarterbacks that don't run at all, like you're going to get weeks like that. But yeah, I'm still firing him up. Madison has had 2 good weeks now back to back. You're still starting Madison.
He just needed Cam Akers to show up to like motivate him, I guess. Like, it was like, oh man, is Cam Akers going to take some of the job? And I mean, he could, eventually, but we haven't seen that yet. So yeah, fire up Madison, easy.
I would potentially trade high on Madison if you can, though. Like two good back to back weeks. Like, and if he does fumble, I think he could lose his job. Like that's how kind of he's fumbled so much already this year, and the coach kind of came out and said like, if you fucking fumble, you're out. Basically, like the Vikings had like insane number of fumbles. It was like a number I'd never heard before. Like going into like week 3, I think it was against the Chargers, they had like 9 fumbles or something.
Well, geez. I mean, Madison's been bailed out too, like multiple times this year. With like, it's like, oh, he totally fumbled, but the play was already called dead. For forward progress or whatever it was. Like at least one of them was that. But like he's fumbled, I think like 2 or 3 times that don't show up in the box score. Which is kind of it's scary. That's probably where that comment came from, where it's like, dude, like get it together.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, you're still starting him. Jefferson's a must start, obviously. Addison, in this game probably is going to be a starter shootout game, hopefully. So yeah, I think we talked enough about him potentially. Like, I think you kind of have to start him. I'd start him over Jerry Jeudy. Potentially over, let's think about Tank Dell. I think I would start him over Tank Dell. I think I'd take a chance on Addison this week, like just because of the matchup and potential shootout. I don't know how you feel about that.
I mean, I didn't watch the game last week. I'm just kind of looking at what happened against Carolina, but it's like Addison went completely backwards. He only had 1 target, but then again, I'm looking at Kirk Cousins. He only threw the ball 19 times. So obviously that's not good, but it's just kind of like, man, like Addison, I kind of want to get away from. But yeah, when it comes to like guys like Jerry Jeudy, it's like, I don't know what you do there. Like, yeah, you're probably firing up Addison because the offense is better. Like you said, potential to have to throw a lot to keep up with the Chiefs, and obviously the Vikings love to throw the ball for these last couple of years. So, and he has that big play potential, like we saw in the first 2 weeks. Like, so he can take one to the house like easy, and make you not feel so bad about starting him. So yeah, I agree. I think you're firing him up. Low end number.
Yeah, they just didn't have as many. And I said this, like, he's not playing on 2 wide receiver sets, and you're going to get games like this because of that. And so they're going to be playing more 3 wide receiver sets against the Chiefs. That's just the fact of the matter. They're going to have to be throwing the ball more. So, I think I'm starting Addison there. So we will move on. We got 15 minutes left to do our last 2 games. The Titans at the Colts is our next one. We have over under a 43.5. The Titans are favored by 2.5. And obviously Tannehill's not a starter. Derrick Henry's an easy start.
Yeah.
What are we doing with Hopkins?
I think you have to fire him up. I don't know if you saw this, but Treylon Burks actually got ruled out again for this game already. So he's not going to play. Hopkins is the only guy there, basically. So I think you're firing him up just because we know, like, he hasn't done it this year yet, but we know what his potential is. And I think his floor is decently safe. It's not a high floor, but I think his floor it's there. It's right around, 10
points.
Half PPR points. Yeah. Even though he's only gotten that like once this year, but I don't know. I think that's kind of his floor.
Yeah. It's weird though. Like, is he fully healthy? Cause like he only played 53% of the snaps last week. That's just strange. Like, I guess I know going into week 2 is when his injury popped up. And then, I don't know. Like, I agree. I'm still going to start Hopkins because I do think he's going to have at least a couple games this year where he hits, and yeah, you just kind of have to start him during these bye weeks, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm just double checking the injury report here, and it looks like, he had the old man rest on Wednesday, and then limited on Thursday. Yeah.
Yep, I'm fine with that. Fire him up. No one else is even worth talking about, honestly. No. Sorry, Chig.
Yeah, I know. Still like you, though.
Yeah, love you as a player.
Yeah.
Missy.
Colts, Richardson, you saw what he can do. He's no-brainer start.
Yep.
I would even potentially, I'm thinking about even just dropping my backup because I'm just all in on Richardson, but Pittman, I still want to start. I don't know how you feel about Pittman. It is a little concerning. Like, we've only seen 2 full games of Michael Pittman and Anthony Richardson together. The first week, it was his best game, but he had like a 40-yard screen pass to the house, which obviously was majority of his points. And then we saw this last week where he got only 5 targets and 1 catch. But I still want to start Pittman. I still think like you're going to maybe get games like that where Richardson only completes 11 passes or whatever it was. But for the most part, I think if you're going to get a game where Richardson's throwing it and completing 20, 25 passes, Pittman's going to get 30% of those. So he's going to get 7, 8, 9 catches, in my opinion. So
yeah, no competition, basically. Like, he's like Hopkins on the other side of the ball. Like, there's just no competition there. We know he can be that alpha receiver. He will have his bad games, like you said, but it's like, you're starting Michael Pittman. Yep,
agreed. And then really the big question is Kylan Granson. No, I'm just kidding.
You're definitely
bringing him up.
Definitely starting him.
Right? I don't even know if
he's Kyle Pitts.
I think it was Mo Alley Cox had a nice beast touchdown run where he just bulldozed the guy for the last 5 yards. I was like, because I started Anthony Richardson, I was super excited. But anyways, the big question is the running backs. Jonathan Taylor potentially coming, but he's been a full participant in practice. He's going to play. You are wanting to avoid him as much as possible. I said I'd probably start him over a Gus Edwards and a Jonathan Taylor or a Najee Harris, to be honest. I know it sounds crazy. I just don't, just because of the upside. If my team needs it can't survive a 3-point game and needs at least 8 points or 7 points, then I'm fine with taking Najee or Gus. But hopefully you're not in that position, and maybe you are though, because you had Jonathan Taylor and you started off poorly. But I just think potential wise, I want to, even on the snap count, I think I'll take Gus or over Gus and Najee. You're the opposite though, right?
Yeah, I'm on the other side of it. I want to see it. I wonder if this is totally like speculation. It's like Jonathan Taylor's going to go out there on one snap and fake an injury and go back on the pup because he doesn't want to play for the Colts and he wants to still get paid and all that stuff.
So weird. It is so weird. But I think at least for the next few games, you're going to get Jonathan Taylor trying to look good, to propel him into.
He's got to sell himself, and the Colts want to. Obviously, they should be working to try and feature him also, so they can trade him.
Yeah. I just got to update. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been downgraded to doubtful. And Jahmyr Gibbs is a late add to the injury report. So go Montgomery.
That's not good. It's always bad when guys are practicing and they go backwards that's never good because you don't know. I guess we'll probably hear more throughout the day, but that's no brainer.
Zach Moss avoid. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor again. Just to kind of wrap that up, obviously like Damian Pierce, Ramondre, Matt, you're starting those guys. But Barkley, even Miles Sanders, in my opinion. But when it's like Gus Edwards, Najee, I'm fine if you want to start Najee over. Gus Edwards is the one where I don't think he's going to get what he got last week. I think he's going to get more like 12 touches, not 18. That's kind of where I'm at with.
Honestly, I think I know you hate Ravens running backs in general, not the players, but you just don't like how they get used in general. But I just think that Baltimore's just going to steamroll Pittsburgh, and Gus is just going to get so much, just killing the clock stuff, in the third quarter even, I don't know. But,
I don't know. I think that potential, I've seen enough Mike Tomlin head coaching games where, the Steelers just, surprise everyone and, what the hell? I don't know. It's either going to be a Ravens blowout or a close game. It's not going to be a Steelers blowout. So I think that does favor Gus kind of in both situations. So I agree with that. But we'll get to our last game here. The Packers at the Raiders. Packers, we talked about...
My wife and her best friend, my wife's a Packers fan and her best friend is a Raiders fan, and they're actually going to that game. So
it'll be fun. Should be fun. But Jordan Love, I think we talked about it, but Trevor Lawrence versus Jordan Love, I think I'm going to leave Jordan Love because of the matchup. Were you in the same boat there?
You could definitely make the case for it. I don't mind it. Jordan Love's obviously played way better. And he's getting, you should have fully healthy weapons at this point. I don't know about Christian Watson still. It's still a hamstring thing. And I don't know, man. I don't mind. You can't go wrong with Jordan Love, it seems like.
Yeah. I think he's had over 20 points every week. So, you can't really argue against that. And it's just, you can do it on the ground too. We saw a game where he did it with mostly his legs. So I like Jordan Love, and I think he can, I think it's almost safer. The Bills could just swarm and, just absolutely destroy the Jags. It's not out of the realm of possibility, Right. Whereas the Raiders are not going to do that to anyone.
Yeah. That's outside of the realm of possibilities. Yes. The Raiders actually doing that.
Yes. Aaron Jones is a must start if he's in there. I think he's going to be. So
he'll be better this week.
Yeah. I still think Romeo Doubs is a must start for the most part. Do you agree with that one? Or?
Yep, I agree 100%. The guy's balling out. He's doing really well. He's obviously the go-to guy for Jordan Love. Love loves Dobbs.
Love loves Dobbs. Christian Watson, what are we doing? So just looking at what they did with Romeo Dobbs coming off a hamstring, it wasn't until I think week 3 where they kind of gave him a full snap percentage.
He was. he did play 76% in week 2, so
Yeah, but he wasn't
yeah,
like the starter
right.
until week 3. So yeah, I don't know if like, and Christian Watson missed time. Like Dobbs didn't even miss time with this injury. So I don't know. I just feel like I want to avoid Watson once again. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, if like you're talking like Watson versus, again, like, okay, Watson versus Drake London. Who are you doing there?
Drake London. I thought you were gonna say Watson versus Jerry Judy because we keep bringing him up.
Okay, yeah, Watson versus Judy.
Yeah, I think I'll take the healthy Judy over the questionable Christian Watson this week. If let's put it this way, if Watson ends up fully practicing today, I will take Christian Watson.
Okay. Yeah, we only have one practice report because they play on Monday. So,
Oh yeah, that's right.
yeah, I'd take Watson over Judy. I think, just because I do think if he is going to play, it's going to be like we saw last week, where he's going to be, especially in the red zone, and he is a touchdown guy, like that's for sure. So
yeah, it's nice speed freak. The guy's super quick and he's a giant. So
yeah.
Yeah.
On the Raiders side, you're starting Devontae Adams, starting Josh Jacobs. I think Jimmy G is going to play, and for that reason, I'm probably going to start Jacoby Myers because like the 2 games he has with Jimmy G has like double-digit targets. Yeah, I mean, is there any argument against Jacoby Myers if Jimmy G plays?
No, I don't think so. I think you fire him up, especially if Jimmy's going to be there, and you bench him if it's Aiden O'Connell again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Jimmy G's been throwing the ball downfield. Like it's like it's just funny how like that was why everyone was afraid of Devontae Adams.
Right.
Like he's not gonna throw. I was like, dude, he's done it in multiple ways with multiple quarterbacks. Like he's done it where he's not a downfield guy. I know with Carr he was last year, but then Jimmy G's throwing the ball downfield and he's like playing well with throwing the ball down. Like he's throwing the ball well down the field. So
I'm actually gonna walk back what I just said about Jacoby Myers. Like even if you could still start him with Aiden O'Connell, if that happens to be the case. I mean, he's out there every snap, so it's kind of like, and we've already seen him be good. So one down game, we shouldn't just like be like, oh, you can't start him now. It's like, give him another shot. Probably like mid-range wide receiver 3.
Yeah, and it's not a fluke. Like he was good last year. Like this isn't just like, what? We never expected this. Like he was good last year. I mentioned it many times. The guys he outscored last year. He was a solid receiver. So, I like that. And I think that's it for the Raiders and this game in general. Unless you have something else.
Daniel Carlson. I don't know. No, nothing. There's nothing to say.
Max Crosby, if you play an IDP. So.
No shit.
He's like the only player really. But we're gonna finish up there. Appreciate it if you stayed and watched. And again, if you have specific questions, leave them in the comments and we'll get to it. And as always, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next time.